Hey moms, today on Wire Talk, we're going to be talking about multiple children and siblings and their bickering and the differences of their personalities and all the things. So if you have more than one child, this podcast is for you. So I cannot wait to dive into this material because I think it's so applicable and it's really going to help you in your mothering journey. So let's get started.
Well, hello, moms, and welcome to Wire Talk. Thank you for joining us today. Can't believe when this is going to be airing. It's going to be September.
Woo!
I'm so excited.
I wore my long sleeve just to get ready for it.
Well, I wore bright yellow, so it has nothing to do with fall.
We look like Michigan, like we're Michigan fans here, but we're not.
We're not.
I mean, we love Michigan, but Auburn is our school of choice.
Yes. And guys, we have a new coach this year. We have Coach Freeze.
Is he going to be good?
I'm hoping so.
Where did he come from?
I don't know.
Oh.
I do think, though, I could be wrong, and I'm sure someone will tell me if I am. I do think he did coach or work with Nick Saban for a little bit because I do think that they are friends. I was watching an interview, and he goes, I have a lot of respect for Nick Saban, which is the Alabama team. And I have a lot of respect for him, but I want to beat him. And I'm like, yes, let's beat him. So
Alabama is Auburn's big rival, just in case you didn't know, in case you live under a rock somewhere on the planet.
But growing up in Georgia, I would say that my biggest rivalry is probably Georgia.
100%.
But whether you're an Auburn fan, Alabama, Michigan, Ohio State, or anything else, Georgia fan, we still love you, you know? And we can love different teams and still love each other.
That's
I was
right.
talking to my friend the other day, and she goes, I just don't want everyone to get so angry. It doesn't matter what team you like and what I like. We just want love. And I was like, Mackenzie, you are so cute.
That is so funny. Listen,
yes.
the Southerners take their SEC football very seriously.
And you know what? I do too sometimes. So I will not say anything else about that. But let us know if you guys are what kind of college or NFL fan you are. We see how many teams we can represent through Birds on a Wire.
That would be fun. Let's do that. That would be a fun little, where would they post that? Like in the comments?
Yeah, they can post it in the comments.
Okay.
So,
and whether you're watching on the podcast or YouTube, let us know. That would be so fun. And also, speaking of which, YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube, let us know. We're just trying to build our platform there. So the more moms, even if you like normally listen to the podcast, just turn on YouTube. Let it play in your kitchen while you're cooking or doing the dishes or whatever.
kind of like you are listening to a podcast.
Exactly. And then that will help our algorithm and bump us up. And then just at the end, just say, love this or whatever your comment is, but let us know. That would be great. That'll bump up our algorithm. It's all about that and help get us more views. And that's what we're out here to do, is to get more moms watching Wire Talk.
It's not necessarily for the views, but it's for the most moms to
So they'll see it.
Right, exactly.
It'll be up in the feed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because, I think I said one time, what do you want for Birds on a Wire? And you said, I want it to be a casual, everybody knows about it. Like you're in the grocery store and you're like, oh, have you heard about Birds on a Wire? And I'm like, yes, I've heard about Birds on a Wire. But to do that, people got to know about it.
That's right.
I mean, I like to tell everybody about it. I was like, please stop. I'm like, no, never.
She is really embarrassing in public.
I'm not. I just really love birds because I'm like, I get so much out of it. But also, you're my mom, so I ask you for everything. But then all these ones who you're not their mom, they love you too.
Aw, that's so sweet.
Seriously,
I love it.
it's so
well,
sweet.
Listen, my heart is for moms.
Absolutely.
And my heart is to equip and encourage moms. So the more moms know about it, the better off it'll be.
The better.
All right, what are we talking about today?
Oh, we are talking about balancing the needs of different personalities in your different children. And
Could write a book on this one.
I know, right? And I do, I was reading the questions before and I'm like, oh, can relate to that. I can relate to that. I can relate to that. Especially this one question that this mom asks. I was like, oh, that's definitely me and Kelsey driving to school back in high school.
Well, let's dive in. I'm excited.
I know, it's going to be great. So as a mom of two and growing up with 4 kids, I can totally relate to these questions. And I think that a lot of these moms are going to be like, this is good today.
This is good. I love the mom's questions in general, just because this helps me know, we are meeting the needs of these moms out there. And I love it, love it, love it.
All right.
Let's do it.
So when we were kids and little, did you feel tension I'm sure not. About balancing the needs of 4 children, or are we little angels all the time?
Oh, my Lord. Yes, I relate to this so much. So I used to tell my mom, if all my children's personalities were the same, it would make my job so much easier. Because like if I was talking to Kelsey, I could be very direct with her and, go brush your teeth and get a bath and let's get ready for bed. But if I said the same thing to you, the exact same words in the exact same tone, what would you do?
I would cry.
Yes, Emily
and I would shut
cry.
down and I wouldn't move.
And I would just be like, for the love. Whenever it's 6:00 at night and you're trying to get them going, it's just like, I don't have time for these tears.
Mm-hmm.
And for Emily, I'd always be like, Emily, why are you crying? And she'd always be like, you're yelling at me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not yelling. Please, Emily, go upstairs, get your bath. I love you so much. Brush your teeth, get ready for bed. And then she'd be like, okay. And I'm like, it was just so draining, just the different temperaments and who am I talking to right now? And, I had to change gears all the time because all of y'all were different.
I know.
Every
really
one
kept
of you
on your toes.
Yes, you did.
I was doing bath time the other day and Brian's like, you're not playing with the kids. I'm like, bath time is not playtime.
No.
It is. I said, I am tired by the end of the day. It is get in, get your face washed, scrub your body, wash your hair, and get out. And
but that is the difference between a husband doing bath time and a mom doing bath time. A mom is like, let's get it on. And a husband is like, oh, y'all, here's the things, just play. Let's make a, warship and a whatever and a whatever.
I got time for that.
No, moms are like, no, we're done.
I played with them the rest of the day.
That's it. You're with them all day long. So by the time bath time rolls around, you're ready for it to be over.
Absolutely. Just so you can get some rest and start a new day.
That's right. I love it.
Well, we've got some really great questions.
Yes.
And I'm excited about them. So let's get going.
All right.
And I'm looking forward to it because I think I'm going to learn something today too.
Well, I hope so.
Always.
I hope everybody can learn something, including me.
Yes. All right. Question 1. How do I balance the needs of my very, in all caps, different children? For example, one of mine likes silence on our 30-minute drive to school, and one likes to sing every song. Me, leads to a fight every single morning. I do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we sing. Tuesday, Thursday, we are quiet. But it's one more thing to keep up with, and the kids are always mad.
She really wrote that.
She wrote grr. I'm not really gargling.
I love that so much. And yes, I think actually this mom is doing a really great job.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really. I love the different days and all that. My kids always fought on who was going to sit in the front. Once they were able to sit in the front, that was what they wanted, was to sit in the front. So we sort of did the same thing. We would rotate weeks. First it was Kelsey's week, then Emily, then Taylor. I don't think Abby ever got to be in the front until they were all gone. But anyways, and the reason it's good to take turns like that is because it's just a key principle in a family, that being in a family, compromise is involved. And you have to always yield to the other person. It's not just a one-man show. So I think this mom is on the right track, taking turns. And I know you can relate to this.
Oh, 100%. When we were in high school, when me and Kelsey were in high school, she was a senior and I was a sophomore. And I am a morning person. Like, I wake up, I'm excited. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to sing. I'm ready to talk. Kelsey's like, don't talk to me till 11:30. So, and that's reality. Not an exaggeration.
That's true.
Mom literally did not talk to her until she got home from school. And she was like, oh my goodness, hey mom.
Yeah.
But she wanted it to be completely silent. And I don't do well with silence.
No.
So I would just start talking. And in the morning, and all the time, I talk very fast, very quickly. I'm very high-pitched. I'm just I'm like an Energizer bunny. In my older years, I'm not so quite energetic in the morning. But anyways, and then I was like, all right, well, then I'll play music. And mom was like, we would get into an argument. And Kelsey's like, I just need her to be quiet. And you told her, she goes, you have to pick. Do you want to listen to music, or do you want to hear Emily talking for 10 minutes to get to school?
That's right.
And Kelsey goes, I just cannot handle the music. And so our compromise was we could listen to music, but it couldn't go above a certain level. And it was actually a really good compromise.
Y'all finally got into a rhythm.
But I couldn't talk to her.
It's a growing situation, and not one person should never win all the time.
Right.
And as a mom, we're the referee sometimes.
Yes. So She's doing a good job. But
Yes.
what's something else practical tip you can leave this mom to simplify her life when it comes to the school drive?
I think compromise is the key, really, and that's what I would focus on. Children are going to be children, so parents have to balance the situation the best they can and just always driving in for that compromise situation.
Mm-hmm. I think that's great. All right, question number 2 from Amy. I have 2 girls who are opposites in almost every way and constantly getting on each other's nerves and bicker day and night. How do I parent this? Some days I don't. Some days I feel like I'm about to lose my mind. And then this is like a 2-part question because this is Candace has a similar question. She wants to know, how do I manage bickering siblings? It's nonstop with creative discipline responses. My girls are 2 years apart, 7 and 5, and are essentially practicing their verbal aggression skills at home with each other instead of being each other's advocates and buddies. I feel like we should have had me and Kelsey on this show.
That's such a great question. I think you need to educate both girls of their different temperaments. And I know even the 7 and the 5-year-old, I think you could, dumb it down or simplify it, not dumb it down.
Yeah.
Simplify it in terms that they would understand. And I just think the advocates and the buddies, that takes time and that takes maturity. I can honestly say that you and Kelsey were not always best friends.
No.
And there were seasons where you were better friends than others. But over time, y'all continued to work with each other. And now you most definitely are best friends.
100%.
Or I would say you are Kelsey's best friend. I don't know if she's your best friend.
She's my best friend. Yes. I have more than one best friend.
Yes. Emily has a lot of friends. But Kelsey, bless her, she always says, Emily is my very best friend. And you truly are.
I love her.
But keep teaching moms and reward whenever they are doing it the right way and let them know, like, hey, I saw you make the extra effort today with your sister and I'm really proud of you. I know that's hard and I know that's out of your strengths area, but you really did a good job and I'm proud of you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They need to hear that.
Mm-hmm. What's one practical thing these moms can do to help with bickering this week?
I would actually listen to the Temperament podcast and I would let the girls listen as well. I think they would get a lot out of it. It'll also help the girls, especially on those ones where we hone in on the blues, the yellows, the reds, and the greens on that temperament. And then you celebrate their strengths and you say, okay, here are your strengths. This is the way God wired you. And this is where you need to lean into the Lord on your weaknesses and things like that. And this is your sister's strength and go for it. It's all about education. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because, you remember Taylor being a blue and he'd go down to the basement and want to be by himself. And the girls, y'all were like, come on, Taylor, let's get up here and let's have a dance party. And he's like, no, I don't want to, because he wanted space. He wanted silence. And that was hard for y'all. But we all had to learn to give him his space and his silence. And then whenever he was ready, he would reemerge.
Well, because we thought he didn't like us.
That's right.
And that hurt our feelings because we have big feelings.
Right. Girls have big feelings.
And we wanted him to be a part. Really, that's just what it is.
Yeah.
And, I think a lot of times siblings just want to do everything with each other, especially the 5-year-old
always wants to be with the older. Always.
The 5-year-old wants to be with the 7-year-old, but the 7-year-old probably wants to, I'm going to speak from I always wanted to do what Kelsey wanted to do.
Always.
But I also didn't always want Kelsey telling me how to do it.
Right.
I wanted to be a big girl like her, but she also wanted to be the parent. So.
Well, and honestly, Abby and I went to breakfast the other morning, and Abby is going to be 26. Taylor's 29. And Abby said, Taylor always listens to what Kelsey has to say. He never listens to me. And I just said, Abby, Kelsey is the big sister, and he's always looked up to her, and you'll never be able to compete with that.
Right.
And that's okay. Y'all have a good relationship now. It took many years for them to get there, but they're there now. And I said, so just enjoy that and don't try to, be what him and Kelsey have. Just enjoy what you guys have. And she goes, you're right. You're right.
You're right, Mom. Okay.
I know, right?
Yes. There's actually a second question from Candace.
Okay.
And she mentioned at the end there being about each other's advocates and buddies. So I think there's an underlining hope that their girls will grow up to be friends. Which I know most parents are hopeful for and they want, but what tips do you have for fostering friendships amongst siblings?
So that's such a great question, the buddies and advocates for each other. So that really takes time. But I would also say that it's important to teach your children, the siblings, to treat each other like they're their friends. So when Kelsey would be mean to you or Abby or whoever, I would say, Kelsey, you can't play with your friends until you start treating Emily, Abby, Taylor like they are your friend. And I know whenever you're acting, and I know whenever you're being sincere. So I'm going to really watch it. And I'm not going to give you a time frame on this. It's just going to be your actions. So treat each other like they're your friends.
Mm-hmm.
But I also want to say to the moms, be patient. Be patient with their children, your children, as they're maturing and they're growing and they're learning.
I also think with siblings, I would say that Kelsey, Taylor, and Abby, we are all very close now.
Yes.
But it didn't always feel like that.
No.
And there's always seasons where I was closer to one than the other. That, the older we've gotten, if something happens, if I'm arguing or so one of them made me mad or something, because as siblings,
right,
you would be like, hey, you need to talk to them about it. But I think it just takes time,
It does.
And it's going to be natural that they're not as close in middle school. Like me and Kelsey did not like each other in middle school.
Y'all did not.
But we had to be nice to each other.
Right.
But
and
you
kind.
gave us our space to not necessarily hang out all the time.
Right.
But in high school, we got
Y'all
very
came back
close.
together.
Mhm.
That's right.
Exactly. All right. Moving on. Question 3. My blue and yellow child are like oil and water. They just do not get one another. How can I help them appreciate their differences?
Such a great question. And of course they don't get one another. They're complete opposite. I mean, this is like Greg and I. They are complete opposite and they do not understand. So once again, the parent, the mom, needs to educate them. This is what the blue needs. This is the blue's strengths, the blue's weaknesses. This is the yellow's strengths, the yellow weaknesses. This is what the yellow needs. And that way they can learn each other, because they are complete opposite, but together, wow, are they a powerful force.
Mm-hmm.
So you just have to teach them, it's okay that your brother is this way or your sister is this way and you're this way. Whenever y'all come together and you combine your strengths, you are going to be a dynamic duo. And it's all right. Let's celebrate each other's differences. But once again, we have to educate them on what those differences are. Because really and truly, a yellow does not understand a blue and a blue does not understand a yellow. Same with the green and the red. Their two brains don't even think that way. For me, being so detailed and processed and everything, my brain just doesn't think that way.
I was like, Mom, you're not detailed.
I'm not.
You were saying that's what you're not.
But Greg is. And so when he's talking about all this stuff, I'm just like, what? Like, my brain doesn't even comprehend it.
Mm-hmm.
And then whenever I'm being very spontaneous and, hey, let's pack up our bags and go here today. Like, Greg's like, we can't do that. We haven't planned out the trip. I mean, you just woke up this morning. You want to take a trip to the mountains? We can't do that. And I'm like, why can't we? I mean, what's stopping us? We're empty nesters. So we just have to educate each other on the way we're wired.
That's good.
Yeah.
So that would be your practical tip for this, Mom.
Go through the podcast and learn the temperaments. I just think the podcast is an easy way to plug and play. You can play it in the car. You can play it while you're doing chores around the house or whatever, and the siblings can all listen. And it's just, then it also stems great conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. All right. Question number 4. I have 2 wonderful boys, 6 and 2.5. My oldest loves attention, talking, and is always looking for a playmate. My youngest is the opposite, quiet, plays well independently, and doesn't want his brother in his space all the time. They play together really well for a time, but when our 2-year-old doesn't want to play anymore, our 6-year-old does things to intentionally aggravate his brother. More often than not, trying to separate the two of them leads to a meltdown, a timeout, and loss of privileges. It's a never-ending cycle. How do I teach my oldest to respect his brother's boundaries? I think I must yell, "Hands off your brother," in my sleep at this point.
I love it. Well, more than likely, the 6-year-old's a yellow and the 2.5-year-old's a blue. I mean, that's what it sounds like, and whenever a blue has had enough, they've had enough. And they usually do love to play and play well with each other. But whenever they hit that wall and they hit their people limit, they want time by themselves. So what this sweet mama needs to do is to pull the 6-year-old 6-year-old aside and just say, hey, your brother needs space and silence right now. And because we love him, we're going to give him that. And so I need you, and think of it as a mom, like, what does your yellow child need? What does the 6-year-old need? And just say, just like you need to have fun and you need adventure in your life, your brother needs space and silence. And whether you understand it or not, we're going to give it to him. Set a time limit and just say, hey, after an hour, you can play with your brother again. I'm going to set a timer. And when the timer goes off, y'all can come back together and play. Another idea is to keep the 6-year-old busy with you, the mom. So say, hey, will you come in the kitchen and help me? I'm preparing for dinner. Do you remember when you were growing up, I had like to the left of in Virginia, to the left of the stove and oven, I had like a whole Tupperware container drawer.
Yes.
And had spoons down there and all that. And I would just say, play right here, make me some soup or whatever. And y'all would sit there and like, what else do you want, Mom? Do you want pizza? And I'm like, yes, I want pizza. And y'all would like go to town on, acting like you were baking and all those things. So let him come and be involved with you. And I know as a mom, you may be thinking, oh, I don't want that. But it's going to really help your 6-year-old not be bored and be engaged and leave the brother alone. That's the main thing. The brother needs some space. So, and it's also good news that the 6-year-old is the one that's sort of having the problem, because you can reason with him a little bit better than a 2.5-year-old.
Yes.
So hope that helps.
I'm saying that, yes, because I have a 2.5-year-old and reasoning with him is
no, they don't get it quite at that age.
Easy.
No.
Yep. So what would you leave this? What would your encouraging note be for this mom?
I think it would be to be proactive and not reactive.
That's really good.
Think it through, Mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think saying that, bring him in, the 6-year-old, with you too. That's going to make him feel seen as well.
Absolutely. That's what a yellow just wants to be with people.
He just wants to be with people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
great. Well, oh, wow.
That was
done.
it? Oh, man. That went fast.
That was so fast. I was really loving these questions. I'm kind of bummed there's not more.
I know.
Okay. Well, there you go, everybody. We're done. Well, moms, once again, just thank you so much for spending your time, spending it with us. We absolutely love this podcast. It's been such a joy to record it and share it with you guys. And if you're enjoying it, then make sure that you like and subscribe, whether it's on YouTube, podcast, or however you're listening to it, just so more people can learn about Birds on a Wire and hear amazing nuggets of wisdom from this lady right here.
Aww.
Karen, she's amazing. Mom, we love you. Seriously, it's this podcast is just a pure joy to people, as including me. Also, check out our YouTube channel. Don't forget to share, like, comment on that so we can share the word for that. And if you have any questions, please send them to info@birdsonawire.moms.com so we can get your questions in the upcoming podcast episodes. Once again, Wire Talk is just a part of Birds on a Wire ministry. And if you have any questions or you want to hear Karen speak at your location, send an email at info@birdsonawire.moms.com. See y'all soon.